Welcome to Parabolas. Let's get started. Alright, so a parabola is the set of all points in a plane that are the same distance from the focus and the directrix. So you've got a parabola here, you've got a focus, and then you have a directrix. Now the vertex is the minimum or maximum point on the parabola. So I'm going to draw a line to this right here. Here's your vertex. It's supposed to be 1 point. So in this case, that would be a minimum vertex. Now the axis of symmetry is the line that cuts the parabola into 2 equal halves. So it goes right through the vertex. So in this case, this axis of symmetry is vertical, and it would be x equals whatever it crosses right there. It's a line that crosses and cuts that parabola in half. So we've only been working with vertical parabolas, and that vertex form of the vertical parabola was y equals a x minus h squared plus k. And you always change the sign of your h, kept the sign of your k, that was your vertex. And we know that it opens up if our a is positive. So we would open up here. This would be my vertex, which again is your h and k. And my axis of symmetry would cut it right in half, and it'd be a vertical. That's not very straight, but it would be a vertical line that cuts the parabola right in half. Now our parabola would open down if our a was negative. So then it would look like this. You'd have a maximum vertex, still your h and k. Change the sign of your h, keep the sign of your k, and then your axis of symmetry would still be vertical, and it would cut your parabola in half. So now we're kind of throwing this horizontal parabola into the mix. And the way you can recognize it when it's written as an equation is instead of y equals, it's actually x equals. And then a y, and the h and k are also switched, minus k plus h. So notice that horizontal is x equals, a vertical parabola is y equals, and that the h and k have switched spots. So this parabola is going to open right. If you have an x equals, it opens either right or left. And then you know it opens right if this a is positive. So if it's positive, it opens right. And it'll look like this. And you still have the vertex in the same place. And your vertex is still your h and k. It's just now your h is here and your k is here. So you keep the sign of your h, change the sign of your k. And your axis of symmetry now is horizontal. And it's going to still cut the parabola in half, it's just going a different way. Now that parabola will open left if your a is negative. Vertex still h and k. And your axis of symmetry still horizontal. It's supposed to go through the vertex, axis of symmetry. So let's look at this example that you have on your paper, which is y equals negative x plus 2 squared minus 6. And in this case, your a is 1. If there's nothing there, it's like there's a 1. So our a is negative 1, so it's a negative number. Now because it's y equals, we know it's going to open either up or down, and then the negative tells us that it opens down. Our vertex is our h and k. Change the sign of our h, keep the sign of our k. So this is our h, this is our k, and that makes my vertex negative 2, negative 6. So I can draw that over here in my graph. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 2, negative 6. So there's my vertex, and I know it opens down. And then my axis of symmetry is the line that cuts my parabola in half. So there's my axis of symmetry, and it cuts it in half at the negative 2. So this is x equals negative 2. If you notice, it's the x in your vertex as well. And then my domain, a parabola is always, the domain, if it's up or down, is always going to be negative infinity to positive infinity. And my range, we read bottom to top, so negative infinity, and it stops here at -6. A bracket because it touches that point. Now this next example you have is an x equals. So x equals y minus 5 squared minus 3. So the x equals tells me that it's going to open either right or left. It's going to be a horizontal parabola. Since your a is a +1, then our parabola is going to open to the right. Remember, if our a was negative and it's x equals, then it opens to the left. So the vertex you read a little differently because your h is over here and your k is here. So your vertex is still h and k, they're just in different spots in your equation. So your vertex is -3, +5. And you find that on your graph. I think that's 4. There we go. -3, +5, and it opens to the right. And your axis of symmetry is the line that cuts your parabola in half. And you can see that it cuts it in half at 5. So then your axis of symmetry would be y equals 5. And your domain, when you're reading from left to right, starts at -3 and goes to infinity. And your range would be negative infinity to positive infinity, because this will go down forever and this will go up forever. That's it for now. Thanks for watching and see you soon.